Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital reports to the master on how they saved the lives of Japan Tzu Chi volunteers. Tzu Chi volunteers traveled to the disaster site in Konawe, Indonesia to distribute aid supplies. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Continuing her island-wide tour, Dharma Master Cheng Yen has arrived at Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital. While there, she listened to the medical staff sharing stories. Young Zhongjian and his wife, both being Tzu Chi volunteers in Japan, were in a serious car accident in Taiwan in October last year. After 7 months of medical treatment, both of them have recovered and returned to Japan. The master encouraged the medical team to treat patients like their own family and to continue to safeguard people's health.
I said, Mr. Yang, you must come quickly because your wife's condition isn't looking good due to large hemorrhages in her belly.
The doctor is talking about how they saved the lives of Tzu Chi volunteer Yang Zhongjian and his wife Ma Bilian after a serious car accident. The wife was critically injured because of a multiple organ hemorrhage, so her life was hanging on a thread. After 7 months of medical treatment, she recovered well.
All I can say is I'm grateful for saving our lives, and we can continue doing Tzu Chi's work, listening to Master's words, and walking the Bodhisattva path. We will continue to grow and benefit the public.
After Ma Bilian recovered, the couple has returned to Japan to continue spreading Tzu Chi's missions in the country. The cardiac surgery also found ways to overcome difficulties to perform a surgery to save patients with heart problems. Whichever the department is, the doctors treat patients as their families and see from the patient's angles to remove their pain.
大医王以法医大士这一份的爱，非常的广大的爱的能量。因为呢，看见了人间疾苦，永远都要当菩萨，守在地狱里，去为地狱苦难众生说法。
Medical staff do their best to end people's suffering and allow them to regain health. Then they can use their strength to pay back to society and to expand the cycle of love.
Chen Suqin has been devoted to Tzu Chi as a documenting volunteer for 20 years. She used to be a wedding photographer with her own studio. However, because of her age and the 9/21 earthquake, she decided to seek a new direction in life. Now she no longer rents her shop and has turned it into a vegetarian cooking class to promote a meatless diet. Let's meet this dedicated volunteer.
这是我30几年来。
This is from 30 years ago, something that had accumulated step by step. I used to do wedding photography, and this is the studio.
一个摄影棚。
Do the lights still work? Yes, they still work. I kept everything intact. I'm reluctant to sell this. It still uses film inside the camera, and you have to manually load and advance the film 1 frame at a time. Each image has to be clear. I focus on eyelashes, and if her eyelashes are clearly focused, the picture will be very beautiful. When I was learning this technology, I discovered this trick. Previously, my nickname was Miss Money, as I had a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. So I love to make money, but after my parents are gone and after seeing the catastrophe of the 9/21 earthquake, that shock made me learn that life is impermanent. And at the moment, I vowed to do volunteering work. Because of my age, when I hold a camera for a long time, my hands begin to shake, so it is not ideal. Also, my eyes have some cataracts, so I feel that I will probably need to change the road. But then what would I want to do? I want to take this opportunity to assume some responsibility and help others by cooking food. I was cooking at the recycling station without any prior training. I put my heart into learning this. This place is mine, and before I rent it out. But then I thought that we could turn this into a cooking class, and we don't need to rent it out. Therefore, I thought to myself I should not rent it, and instead get some committed cooking instructors to come here and have a class.
这哦，烹饪班的老师教的，嘿啊，好，这个足丰富的呢。嘿啊，啊个这个一个，啊你来拄啊好，恁咧食饭好，上好，嘿啊。
伊爱食芦笋啦，吃这样。
甲妈妈谢谢无？有无？妈妈谢谢。囡仔是安怎？
伊较早。
What happened to my child? When he was 2, he had a high fever that wouldn't subside. So we went to the hospital and stayed for a month. When my husband retired from military, he got $4,000, which was quickly spent on him. For 40 years, I look after my son. My husband is 90 now. The husbands of a woman in my time have passed away. I also look after my husband.
One person in an area can look after a family, which is a little compassion and love. But if we can expand the love to the community, we can help repair society and bring blessings to others. In Miaoli, Taiwan, there's a Tzu Chi care recipient family. The 80-some-year-old great-grandmother always loves to bring things home. Therefore, after 20 years, their house has become like a dump site. The volunteers have attempted to persuade her to let them clear away the cluttered items, but she refused. Her 4-year-old great-granddaughter suffered from developmental delays, so the volunteers are very concerned about her growth in this environment. They have helped her by taking her to the doctor for treatment. In addition, they will continue to try to persuade the senior to let them clean her house.
Every part of this traditional house is piled with garbage. The volunteers try to convince the elderly woman not to bring more items home. However, the elderly stubbornly refuses their request. Her 4-year-old great-granddaughter sleeps with her in this room.
When the kid was born, my mom was fine, but after some years, she gathered all these. After we cleaned them, she did it again. When I came to see them, my mom slept horizontally.
Apparently, there's not any space for sleeping. The 4-year-old girl was found to have developmental delay 2 years ago, so the volunteers started to help this family.
The girl didn't have good language development, so she talked like a baby.
Because she's young, we're very worried that her growth in this environment will affect her personality development.
The girl's parents are divorced, so she lives in this house with her great-grandmother, her maternal grandfather, and her great-aunt. The girl is taking therapies now, so her condition is improving. The volunteers also discover the walls in this house are old and exposed, so they can cause danger.
This house is very old, so we're concerned about wires causing fire, which will be very dangerous. She cooks too, so we asked the construction department to take a look.
The family said that about 20 years ago, the elderly woman started to bring things home, pile them up everywhere. She refuses people's help to clean them. So this is a major challenge to the volunteers.
She refuses anyone from throwing them out, so they are garbage.
However, the volunteers do not give it up. They still try to communicate with her, and hopefully someday she will realize her problem and allow the volunteers to help her by cleaning up their house.
Take care of yourself, okay? We're going home. Do not bring anything home, okay? We'll come again in 2 weeks. Please do not bring more items home, okay? Many people have experienced sprains due to sports. Viewers should be reminded that these injuries may actually hide ligament damage that could affect a person for their entire life. In the past, ligament repair surgery required large incision, but this can be done through a minimally invasive procedure now. Let's learn more from the doctors.
Exercise is a good way to maintain health, but excessive impact or joint dislocation can cause ligament injuries. Yo-Yo, who started playing basketball since childhood, has been injured all over, but her most recent ankle injury was too much to ignore.
There's no way to step on this foot. My heel feels a shock when I step down. This includes the inside of the foot, which is very painful, and the outside is a little unstable as well.
It may be because you are an athlete and you have been exerting this area for a long time, and it has finally come to this point. It became looser and looser, as this could be a repeated injury.
This time the injury made me realize that if I don't take care of it today, in the future I might be relying on a wheelchair much before others.
In the past, joint ligament repair surgery required a large incision, but it can now be done through arthroscopy in a minimally invasive manner.
2 or 3 small wounds can be made for a ligament suture. That's for some people who are more unstable or do high-intensity exercise. For example, some athletes require us to do reconstruction of ligaments, which is the same and can be done through arthroscopy.
Arthroscopic ligament repair or reconstruction surgery can reduce wound pain and accelerate recovery time. Also, one will have less scars after surgery. Combined with the help from silent mentors, the ligament recovery for patients undergoing such surgery is better and better.
Usually, we take your own tendon, sacrificing the muscle from another position, which could cause some damage related to its function. In the Tzu Chi Hospital, you can also use donated tendons from silent mentors.
The doctor reminded everyone that sprains from walking may cause damage to ligaments. Once the joints of the feet are swollen, look for a specialist to do an examination, as improper care can make a ligament rupture even more serious.
In China, Yinping, Sichuan was devastated by a recent earthquake. A couple in Chengdu, where both city volunteers traveled to the disaster areas to help with the aid distributions. The truck driver, who's in charge of transporting aid supplies, felt deeply touched to see how the residents are helping each other. Let's take a look at how people are helping out in the aftermath of the Sichuan earthquake.
My home was destroyed in the earthquake. There are cracks on the house, which has become uninhabitable. The kitchen has also collapsed.
They have been sleeping on the chairs and on the ground. They took the mat at home and slept on the ground. It has been hard for them.
The house has collapsed and we cannot go inside. We cannot open the door. There are 8 people in the tent. We cannot do anything about the heat.
I rested for 2 hours. I feel very excited. I think people in Chengdu are very passionate. It was raining heavily when I went there to load the supplies. They quickly loaded the supplies. There were seniors and children who are very passionate. I think being a resident of Gong County, I feel very happy.
The earthquake struck our hometown, therefore my wife and I came here without hesitation. We feel very touched. I think the residents are having a hard time. We will do our best to help the residents get through the tough times.
We were notified that we could come to the disaster area. I did not think too much, and I simply came along. I saw many residents and children here. I have been thinking about how I can accompany the children with a mother's heart.
Smiles have returned to the faces of the children. Despite the disaster, the children are surrounded by great love. In early June, Konawe in Indonesia flooded because of heavy rains. The affected residents have been forced to evacuate to higher ground. Jakarta Tzu Chi volunteers and TIMA doctors traveled to the disaster site to assess damages, distribute aid supplies, and host a free clinic. Let's take a look. In the aftermath of the flood, the village has become inundated and the floodwater is more than a meter deep. Residents have been forced to evacuate to higher ground.
It has been flooded. I can only see the roof now.
Since the drainage system is poor, the floodwater has not receded. Jakarta Tzu Chi volunteers headed to a temporary shelter, immediately setting up a simple medical station. TIMA doctors have treated 119 residents who mostly suffer from colds and stomach problems.
The child who has a cold and is coughing and has a runny nose.
The health conditions of feeble seniors and children are deteriorating. Besides holding a free clinic, Tzu Chi started to distribute supply vouchers with the assistance of the township mayor.
Tzu Chi volunteers first distribute supply vouchers. The township mayor thought that we could just distribute supplies. We explained to the mayor that Tzu Chi's principle is to respect affected residents and express our care.
The aid supplies, including water buckets, blankets, sarongs, and clean clothes, are items that the affected residents desperately need.
Thank God we are able to get the assistance. These items can be used every day. Thank you for the timely help.
The affected residents who have lost their belongings cherish the aid supplies and the timely help. Tzu Chi volunteers continue their relief efforts in Eastern Africa. After the first stage of distributions, local volunteers carry out the second stage of distribution at a police station, giving out construction tools, rice, and bean seeds. 220 policemen receive these goods. The police often have to maintain orders, and this time they felt they were loved too.
Estamos a ver gesto muito maior, o que nós não esperávamos que pudéssemos ter esse tipo de kits. Houveram várias organizações que passaram por aqui, nós a vermos, a proteger-nos, ou a proteger as mesmas organizações.
Over 200 bags of found construction tools are being brought to this police station. They will be handed over under the same big tree, but the difference is that it is the police officers who will receive these goods.
We have a saw, a bag of rice, a hammer, and a shovel.
The goods include tools for building houses and also bean seeds. These police feel that it is their responsibilities to help NGOs with distributions, so they are surprised to receive relief supplies too.
As a police officer, it is helpful to receive the relief supplies because we are humans too. We have families and we are affected by the cyclone. However, our duties are to protect the people who are affected by the cyclone. It's our responsibility.
They know this caring love comes from Taiwan.
Master Cheng Yen cares about people, so she made a vow in Taiwan and built a hospital.
After Cyclone Idai, Tzu Chi volunteers have been distributing goods in Mozambique. The local volunteers will continue to accompany the cyclone survivors.
When people retire, they tend to worry about what they will do to spend their free time. There's a group of elderly people in Hualien who love learning, so they chose to study at a senior college at the Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology. The school has designed many courses so the elderly can continue to learn to enrich their lives.
The students of the senior college at the Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology are using dragon fruits and turmeric to dye the dough and using their hands to create tangyuan for this fascinating home economics class.
These food products were invented by Dharma Masters at the abode, so they are organic. The steps in making these desserts are very simple, so we hope that they can also make them at home.
After they are retired, these elderly are still passionate about learning, so the university set up this senior college for them to continue studying.
The elderly were not able to take many of our courses when they were young, or they didn't have any chance of studying. So after they're retired, they have this chance to study them in a much more relaxing way.
The university also combines resources from other Tzu Chi missions in their courses, so the elderly students can feel they are back in school again.
In Taiwan, the Guangfu Care Station for Seniors has invited horticultural therapists to teach the elderly people ways to make massagers. Since the massagers contain herbs, its fragrance can help relax the seniors. The seniors are happy to learn to make these massagers. Here's more. Pounding on the head, pounding on the back. What is the function of this stick?
The massager is a massage stick that is made by raping herbs in a cotton bags. It stimulates the energy points and helps the blood circulation.
There's wormwood, lemongrass, remolacha, cinnamon, and camphor tree leaves inside. The smell relaxes people.
We heal people with plants, which are familiar to the seniors. This way, the seniors will remember the era when they did farming.
Japan Tzu Chi Hospital's Dementia Care Center has invited horticultural therapists to the care station in Guangfu to teach the seniors to make massagers.
I have not been doing anything. I have never done this in the past either. Now, I'm so happy to do some handcraft work and learn.
Enjoying the fragrance of the herbs, the seniors are filled with joy. They have also learned a skill that will be helpful in the future. In Taiwan, an insurance broker, Ling Xingchen, has held a concert in Jiayi in mid-June. Influenced by his aunt, who is a Tzu Chi volunteer, Ling is donating his concert proceeds for charity purposes. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.